Well, guys, it's now time for my week 14 picks of the 2023 NFL season. As last week I went 9-4, which is my third best week of the season, and I was 8-0 after the 1 p.m. games, but after that I went 1-4. Ugh, it was so irritating. And of course, here is the regular season stands and the playoff stands at the season end of the day. In the AFC, it's the Dolphins with the bye, with Colts at Ravens, Browns at Chiefs, and Steelers at Jaguars. And in the NFC, it's the Eagles with the bye, with Packers at 49ers, Vikings at Lions, and Cowboys at Falcons. And my Super Bowl prediction right now is the 49ers over the Dolphins. Alright, so let's get to my Week 14 picks. Starting off with Thursday night tonight, as it's the Patriots at the Steelers for the second year in a row. The Patriots won the last two. The Steelers haven't beaten them since 2018. And the Patriots, if they lose tonight, they are eliminated from the playoffs. Or they can get eliminated even if they win, if the Colts, Texans, and Bengals all win, basically. So, yeah, huge for them after they lost to the Chargers in a terrible, ugly game. Freaking 6-0. Ugh, that was bad. At least their defense the last few weeks did their job, but their offense couldn't do anything. Meanwhile, the Steelers got obliterated by the Cardinals pretty much. Oh my gosh, where did that come from? And Kenny Pickens got injured and all that too. But of course, Steelers have their elite defense. Patriots pretty much have nothing, so I'm going to pick the Steelers to get this one. And then we get to the 1 p.m. games, as it starts off with the NFC South on the line, as the Buccaneers are at the Falcons. The Falcons won the last two. The Buccaneers haven't won, beat them since 2022, and they haven't won in Atlanta since 2021. So the Buccaneers, hard-fought game, but they beat the Panthers to end their, 2-game losing streak or whatever. Meanwhile, the Falcons have now won, I think, 2 in a row, and they're on the verge of going over 500 for the first time in several weeks, and matched their win total from last year. As this is big, too, for them after they beat the Jets in an ugly game, too. This could go either way, but after seeing how they play in the previous week, several weeks ago when they were in Tampa, I think I might pick the Falcons for this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Buccaneers get it. And then it's a big outer conference matchup, as it's the Rams at the Ravens for the first time since 2021. The Rams won the last one. The Ravens haven't beaten them since 2019, and they haven't won at home since 2015, as the Rams got a better season last year after they throttled the Browns pretty much. They've now won 3 in a row to try and get back in the playoff race. Meanwhile, the Ravens, oh my god, I already forgot who they play. I think they were on their bye last week. But I know it was on their bye. They beat the Chargers in a defensive game off from their bye, as they're 1 win away from matching their record from last year. Very interesting game this will be, but I'm going to pick the Ravens for this one. And then it's the Lions at the Bears, as the Lions won the last 3. The Bears haven't beaten them since 2021, as they try to avoid their third straight losing season. As the Lions, of course, trying to improve from their record last year, as they they beat the Saints last week in a close game too. They were destroying them at first, but then the Saints came back pretty competitively, but they couldn't get the victory as the Lions held on. The Bears, meanwhile, dang it, I already forgot who they last played, because I'm stupid and all that. Ugh. So anyways, remember the Bears a few weeks ago almost pulled off the upset on the Lions, so the Bears cannot be underestimated right now, Lions. You need to take them seriously. This could be an upset in the potential. I'm still going to pick the Lions to get it, but I won't be surprised if the Bears get it and all that. So then we get to the next games, as there'll be a big one in the AFC, a couple big ones in the AFC, as it's the Colts at the Bengals for the first time since 2017. The Colts won the last one. The Bengals haven't beaten them since 2018, and they haven't won at home since 2017. As the Colts have now won 4 in a row after they beat the Titans in a wild overtime game right there. That was incredible. Meanwhile, the Bengals, despite not having Burrow, actually beat the Jaguars in a surprisingly good game. Of course, showing that the Bengals, despite not having Burrow, cannot be underestimated. They're still a good team, all considered. So this is going to be a very interesting game, especially after seeing how the Jaguars played. Oh boy, it could go either way between these two. But after seeing how well they played against the Jaguars, I think I just might edge out the Bengals, but I won't be surprised if the Colts get it. And then it's another big one, the Jaguars at the Browns for the first time since 2017, as the I don't know why the Colts haven't been up. I forgot to update that too. Oh my gosh. Why am I getting stupid not remembering to update this crap? Anyways, the Browns won the last one. The Jaguars haven't beaten them since 2017. And the Browns haven't won at home against them since 2011, I think. Or something like that. Anyways, the Jaguars are trying to match the record from last year to get a winning season for a second year in a row. And the Browns are still trying to prove from the record from last year. The Jaguars lost a hard-fought game between the Bengals. And that sucks too because Trevor Lawrence got injured, and a whole bunch of other people got hurt, and who knows if they're going to be playing this week. Meanwhile, the Browns have gotten fouled now back-to-back weeks and all that. Not looking good for them, as this is an important game for both of them, too. Oh, boy. Tough one. Browns have been struggling, but the Jaguars are pretty banged up right now. Ugh. It honestly might come down to if Lawrence plays or not, and I have no idea at the moment. And all that. Ugh. So my pick, I think I'm going to have to do the occasional pick where it has to depend on the quarterback and all that. So if Lawrence plays, I'll pick the Jaguars. But if he doesn't, I'm going to pick the Browns. And right now, Lawrence isn't playing that I know of at the moment, so I'm going to pick the Browns right now. But if he does play, it's going to go back over to the Jaguars. So remember that, people. And then it's the Panthers at the Saints. As the Saints won the last one, the Panthers haven't beaten them since 2022, and the Saints haven't won at home since 2021. So the Panthers, of course, got eliminated after they lost again to the Buccaneers. Meanwhile, the Saints, hard-fought game, but they couldn't beat the Lions, as they're getting far back there in the playoff race. They need to start turning around. And, of course, even though the Panthers swept them last year and they put up a good game on Monday night in Week 2, I'm still going to pick the Saints for this one. And then it's the Texans at the Jets for the first time since 2018. As the Jets won the last one, the Texans haven't beaten them since 2018. And the Jets haven't won at home against them since 2010. As the Jets try to avoid, like, their 7th straight losing season. Texans continue to dominate after they beat the Broncos in a close game. The Jets lost a close game to the Falcons. I'm going to pick the Texans for this one. Alright, then we get to the 4 p.m. games. Start off with a big hour conference matchup. The Vikings at the Raiders for the first time since 2015. The Vikings won the last two. The Raiders haven't beaten them since 2011. And they haven't won at home against them since 2003. As the Vikings have now lost 2 in a row. If they lost an ugly, ugly game to the Bears off their bye. And all that. Ugh. That was pretty bad. Maybe that's who the Bears played too. But I just don't remember. I could have sworn they played another game before their bye. And all that. But yeah, not looking good for them as they're trying to get back over 500. Meanwhile, the Raiders lost to the Chiefs last week, as they've now lost 2 in a row after they choked it away and all that. Definitely not good. Actually, they've been on their bye from 2 weeks ago. So yeah, very interesting matchup, but I'm going to pick the Vikings still for this one. And then it's a big NFC West matchup, as it's the Seahawks at the 49ers. As the 49ers won the last 3, the Seahawks haven't beaten them since 2021. As the Seahawks have now lost 3 in a row after they lost to the Cowboys on Thursday night. A very close game as they're trying to avoid going under 500 for the first time since, Week 1? Meanwhile, the 49ers trying to, after they crushed the Eagles last Sunday, that was a huge victory for them as they have a tiebreaker now. But for 49ers, if they win and the Packers lose, the Vikings lose, or they both tie, they will make it back into the playoffs for the 3rd year in a row. So this is a lot on the line. A win and a Packers and Vikings loss or tie between them. So yeah, huge game between them, but I'm going to pick the 49ers for this one. And then we get to a huge AFC matchup. Huge rivalry the last few years. As it's the Bills at the Chiefs for the 3rd year in a row. As the Bills won the last 2, the Chiefs haven't beaten them since 2020. And they haven't won at home against them since 2015. As the Bills trying to get back over 500 after their bye when they lost to the Eagles in a very close game. Meanwhile, the Chiefs lost to the Packers in a pretty ugly game as Mahomes did not look very good whatsoever. This is a huge game for both these two and all that. But you know what? Right now, despite the record, I still think the Bills are playing better than the Chiefs at the moment. And of course, with their history the last few years, I'm actually going to pick the Bills for this one in a possible upset. And then it's the big AFC West matchup, as it's the Broncos at the Chargers. Broncos won the last one. The Chargers haven't beaten them since 2022, and the Broncos haven't won in LA since 2019. as the Broncos lost to the Texans in a close game as Russell Wilson did not play good as they're trying to get back over 500. Meanwhile, the Chargers, they beat the Patriots in that ugly 6-0 win. Yeah, they won, but honestly, my view of them went down because their offense was so terrible in that game. So they're trying to get closer to 500 and get the needed tiebreakers over the Broncos and the Raiders at the moment. I am still going to pick the Chargers for this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos get it. And then we get to a huge, and I mean huge, NFC matchup, as is the Eagles at the Cowboys. As the Eagles won the last one, the Cowboys haven't beaten them since 2022, and the Eagles haven't won in Arlington since 2017. As for both these teams, they can clinch a playoff spot this week. Cowboys, if they win, and a combination of so many teams losing, they'll get in. Eagles, if they win, and a combination of other teams losing and all that, they'll get in. So both can get in and a couple losses on the line, all that. So the Eagles got crushed by the 49ers last week. Looked terrible, too. That's not good, especially since they got to visit the Cowboys now. Speaking of the Cowboys, they beat the Seahawks in a close offensive game, as they're honestly starting to look a little bit better to me than the Eagles at the moment. Maybe this could be the turn of the tide for the division, perhaps, as I'm going to pick the Cowboys for this one. And then we get to the big two Monday night games, which of course sucks, especially since now both of them are playing at the same time instead of one like an hour ahead of time. It's stupid. So anyways, start off will be the Titans at the Dolphins for the first time since 2018. The Titans won the last one. The Dolphins haven't beaten them since 2018, and the Titans haven't won in Miami since 2016, as the Titans try to avoid their second straight losing season. And the Titans, if they lose and the Jaguars-Browns tie, Colts win, Steelers win, and the Texans win or tie, they'll be eliminated for the second year in a row for the playoffs. As they lost to the Colts in that hard-fought game. Dolphins, meanwhile, completely obliterated the Commanders, finally looking good too after several weeks of struggle, as they try and improve from their record from last year. So yeah, I'm going to pick the Dolphins for this one. And then it's the Packers at the Giants. As the Giants won the last one, the Packers haven't beaten them since 2019, and the Giants haven't won at home against them since 2013. So the Packers, of course, beat the Chiefs in a very strong game, as Jordan Love these last 3 weeks has looked back to how he was at the beginning of the season. And Packers look scary good right now. Meanwhile, the Giants came off their bye after they crushed the Commanders. Wait, was it the Commanders or the Patriots they beat? Can't remember, but they beat one of them, as they're still trying to hold on in the playoff race and avoid their first losing season since 2021. I'm going to pick the Packers for this one. Alright, so those are my picks for week 1. I don't know why the Falcons are put right there. I cannot wait for the Patriots at Steelers tonight, so my picks are the Steelers over the Patriots, Falcons over the Buccaneers, Ravens over the Rams, Lions over the Bears, Bengals over the Colts, Browns over the Jaguars at the moment, but if Lawrence plays, I'm going to pick the Jaguars over the Browns. Saints over the Panthers, Texans over the Jets, Vikings over the Raiders, the 49ers over the Seahawks, the Bills over the Chiefs, Chargers over the Broncos, Cowboys over the Eagles, Dolphins over the Titans, and Packers over the Giants. Alright guys, so see you guys next week for week 15.